struck him out.
To right field. Great play by Crowley, the second baseman. Tremendous play by... Whoa, to left field and deep, way back, out of here. Right field, slicing away from the right fielder. Tries it, makes a great diving catch. What a tremendous play. That's gone. This one's goodbye. This one's out of here.
From Clark Field on the campus of Princeton University, Channel 5 Story Communications presents Championship Baseball. Today, the Parochial B State Final, the Spartans of St. James High School and the Lions of Pope John High School. Hi again, everybody. Mike Linder along with Bob Schrack. We're here at Princeton University on an absolutely gorgeous Saturday morning for what will be a day that will be remembered for many, many years by some players out there in the field today, Bob. And, of course, our local representative, St. James, just a storybook season. And, of course, they are led by their great pitcher, Mickey McCoy, and today the test looks to be for them the pitcher from Pope John.
Yeah, what a pitching matchup we have, Mike. Of course, we all know about McCoy, undefeated this season, and led St. James to the championship. And the opposing team today has an outstanding pitcher in its own right. That's Pat Highland, who's 11-1. He is a left-hander, and everybody we talked to before the game today, Mike, thought that this might be a 2-1, 3-2 kind of baseball game with two outstanding pitchers. We're just about ready to get going. The visiting team today is St. James. And I tell you, could not have a prettier day for a baseball game. His storybook season, as Mike indicated, with a storybook South Jersey conclusion for St. James just 4 days ago when they rallied with 5 runs in the last inning to defeat Gloucester Catholic 8-7. McCoy pitched the win that day, but he was rocked around a little bit, and some concern about the condition of Mickey's arm. First pitch of the ball game coming up from Highland. It's over the head of Sam Leone, the leadoff hitter for St. James, and ball one. Great crowd on hand at this tremendous complex at Princeton University.
Leone coming in, hitting at .313, Bob, but it was great on-base percentage, .559.
Our old friend Boyd Sands, the superintendent of schools, Delsea Regional High School, is the umpire today behind the plate, working with Chuck Marciano and Joe Harrington on the base paths. 2-0 count to the leadoff hitter in the ball game, Sam Leone.
Take a look at this one, Sam.
It's a ball.
Highland coming in with those great stats, Bob, 11-1, and if you read the newspapers, sometimes can get you in trouble. Of course, St. James didn't have too much time to focus on the question of who they were going to play as we see that first strike call. But Highland coming in with 77 strikeouts over the season. And he gets that one in there right then. You know, we've been up here a number of years watching teams from our area, and I still think the teams that win are the ones that believe they belong here. And St. James, Bob, talked to them for an hour before the ball game, and they looked loose as you could be, just the way you'd want them to come out and be ready to play.
So Leone, a leadoff base runner on the free pass from Highland, and St. James with an opportunity here. Fred, proud of their fine coach of the year, and likes the running game, and we'll see what he does early here in the first inning. Leone fakes running as Sorbella takes a strike. Sorbella batting .276 on the season. Pope John infield at double play depth. Breaking ball missing inside. A ball on the strike to Sorbello.
Of course, it's a new experience for Pope John out on the field, although they were here as a different named high school a long time ago. I'm sure none of these youngsters remember it.
2-1 count. High throw, but it's held by Brian McKenzie, the first baseman for Pope John. It's a 2-1 count to Sorbella. That was state championship was in 1964. Then in Parochial C, and the name of the school was Our Lady of the Lake. Foul back towards us, and it's a 2-2 count. We might get a foul ball today, Mike. Great vantage point.
And we'll get more than one, no question about that. Of course, it's open. One of the problems playing here at Princeton University, Bob, on both fields, this, of course, the varsity field, is the great depth behind catcher. And you uncork a wild one here or get a pass ball, you're in deep trouble.
Leone running, high pitch, high throw, bad throw into center field by the catcher Piella, and the ball gets past the center fielder. Leone is going to be held at third base by Prada, but some shaky defensive play by the catcher Piella throwing it into center field. Then Rosado, the center fielder, bobbled it, and that'll be 2 errors on the play. 1 error actually, because
he'll get the steal.
Leone was stealing, so he'll get the stolen base, but the high throw by the catcher will result in an error against catcher Piella. So Leone, with nobody out, is in scoring position at third base.
And a full count to the batter. Credit Fred Pratt on that one, Bob. He saw catcher Piella throw that ball down to first base nearly wildly on a prior pitch and decided to test his arm quickly.
Swung on and missed. Big strikeout for Highland. Gets the first out of the ball game. Takes a little bit of pressure off the defense. 1 down with Leone at third. And Mickey McCoy, been an outstanding pitcher, one of the best in South Jersey, all South Jersey pitcher. But he's also been an outstanding hitter. .391 batting average coming in, and that leads the team. Also 22 runs batted in. That's only 3 fewer than Keith Villanova, the fine sophomore. Just missing inside, 1-0 to McCoy.
Tell you what, you got to hit it a long way to get it out of here at Princeton. You won't see many launched as a home run ball here. 337 down the left field line, 319 down the right. But Bob, the power alleys are unbelievable. 387 in left center and 390 in right center, and then 410 at center field. Big ballpark.
Ball and a strike for St. James. Wants that run in from third base to get the early jump. Hitch. Hit the left field, way back, chasing the left fielder back. He makes the catch, but tagging on the play is Leone. He'll score easy on the long sacrifice fly by McCoy. Bill Connolly makes the catch, but St. James leads 1-0, and McCoy hit it well.
That's what I was talking about. I mean, in almost any field you would see these high school teams play out, Bob, that would have been a home run with no problem at all. And don't be fooled by the fact that it's 337 down the line, as we'll get a chance to see the way the fences bend to the power alleys. That ball was hit a ton.
Keith Villanova, cleanup hitter for St. James, only a sophomore, having an outstanding season. .338 batting average, leading the team with 28 runs batted in. Ball 1 from Highland, so Highland touched for a first inning run.
Keith, of course, the second Villanova to play on this field. Kenny, in 1985, as a all-South Jersey performer, played in the ball game here, the All-Star game.
Easy little pop-up to first baseman McKenzie, retires Villanova for the final out of the inning. However, St. James jumps on top. Leone with a walk, stole second, reached third in an error, and scored the game's first run on Mickey McCoy's deep sacrifice fly. 1-0 St. James, middle of inning number 1.
Well, St. James doing their best here to get the Parochial B championship. Of course, Bob, to add to the other championship they have this year, they're got the victory nod in the Tri-County Classic. And of course, they beat St. Peter's of New Brunswick, scoring 12 runs in that game, and then coming in and beating Gloucester Catholic the other day. And of course, getting the opportunity to play here at Princeton, as you can take a good look at this magnificent facility on this grand day for baseball. You can see just how far they've got to hit it. And of course, the fabled gymnasium there in the center field.
Gadwin Gym.
Mm-hmm. Big crowd beginning to assemble.
Well, you could not have a nicer day for a ball game. And this is a beautiful facility, Mike. It always is a thrill to come up here and do a game, and particularly when it involves one of our teams from the Channel 5 area.
Mickey McCoy getting ready to pitch. This is the 28th ball game of the year for St. James, and he has been on the mound in 21 of those 28.
146 strikeouts, 12 walks. Mike, that has got to be one of the most amazing statistics by a high school pitcher I believe I've ever seen.
That's called being around the plate, isn't it?
1.24 earned run average, and he is a strikeout pitcher. Brian Strako, Vic Rosado, and Kevin Reardon, the first 3 hitters for Pope John of Sparta here in the home half of the first innings. 1-0 lead for St. James. McCoy with the fastball for a strike.
Some people indicate McCoy doesn't have the great fastball, maybe between 75, 82 miles an hour. But I'll tell you, Bob, I still say his ball explodes the last 10 feet. And that is the difference between the high school fastball and the real good high school fastball.
0-2 count to Strako, who's hitting .463 in the season, only a junior. This is a Pope John team that scored a lot of runs, just missing. 1-2 to Strako.
Yeah, I guess that's a waste pitch, but he didn't waste it that far outside. Looked like a good pitch from where we are. We're quite a distance away from home plate, but right behind it.
2-2 count to Brian Strako, leading off for the Lions here in the home first inning.
4 straight fastballs, Bob. If he's going to try the breaker at all, he wants to do it here. Doesn't want to wait till the count goes full 3-2.
Little pop-up, it's foul, and it's going to reach the stands.
Right past Scout Row, we'll get a chance to take a look at a lot of Major League scouts here today, and that one bounced over the head of Joe Riley, the area scout for the Philadelphia Phillies. Bobby Malkmus, former Philly from the Cleveland Indians organization, sitting to our left.
McCoy had Strako down 0-2, and now it's a full count.
And still throwing nothing but the fastball.
Hit well to left field. Chasing Lopes back, way back. It's going to be over his head. Going to go all the way to the fence. Strako at second base. He's going to get a stand-up triple out of this. Well, not a stand-up triple. He didn't have to slide, but he did. And Strako reaches third base with nobody out, as Leone did for St. James in the top half of the first. And Mike, that ball seemed to fool Lopes a little bit. Really carried on him.
Well, I'm not sure he would have gotten it, whether he was fooled or not. That ball, again, hit a ton, maybe a little further even than McCoy's. And once again, it's only the deep power alleys that keep us from having seen 2 home runs already here in the first inning, 1 from each team. Little guy hit it a long way, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Pope John with a great opportunity to tie it here in the first. And Prada now positioning his infield.
Yeah, they came in on their own, Bob, as if to cut off the run at the plate. I don't think you want to play that way in the first inning.
Rosado hitting .406, takes ball 1 from McCoy, and those cheers are from the Pope John fans and players.
Long ride for that contingent coming all the way down from Sparta.
Swung on and missed. Good fastball by McCoy. Pope John and the champions of the Sussex County Interscholastic League. They were 16-2 in the conference. They were ranked #1 in West Jersey by the Newark Star Ledger. 2-1. John Kuntz, the head coach at Pope John in his 5th season. By far his best year. Strike 2. That was a good fastball. 2-2 count to Rosado as McCoy looks for a strikeout in this situation. Infield back conceding the run.
We have not seen the breaking ball yet, Bob, and he has a good one.
Hit foul down the right field line. Late swing by Rosado. Just trying to get his bat on the ball, put it into play, and get Strako in from third base.
Couple of brothers, of course, playing here. Strako at second base, now down at third base on that triple.
Good stop by Mike Taylor, ball in the dirt. Another full count, so McCoy is going full to the first 2 hitters in the lineup for Pope John.
The Strako family has to be proud, huh? Brian at second base and Pat, the brother, at third base.
Hit to the right side, should get the run in. Bad hop off the body of Joe Wilson, and safe at first base is Rosado as the run scores, making it 1-1.
Bob, I think that play really winds up be ruled an error because second baseman Wilson allowed that ball to play him. If he had gotten in on it, he would have made that play easily. But standing there with feet solidly planted, the ball played him and took that hop.
1-1 ball game. Still nobody out in the first inning. Kevin Reardon hitting .466 to batter. So McCoy having some first inning problems. Fouled at the plate, 0-1. So Rosado gets the job done. He reaches on the air. Also will get an RBI on the play. Strako was running with the pitch, or with the batted ball. home half of inning number 1, a 1-1 tie. State Parochial B Championship. McCoy steps off the rubber and throws softly to first base. Keith Villanova plays first for the Spartans. Very little wind today. 1-1 count to Reardon.
Well, we saw Prada send his runner in the opening inning to test the arm of the Pope John catcher. Be interesting to see if they test Taylor here.
Fouled back and out of play. Count is 1-2 to Reardon as McCoy still looks for that first out. Good day to get a suntan at Princeton. McCoy keeping Rosado close at first. So each team with a first inning error. Unusual batting stance. Little pop-up, might stay in play. But it'll hit on top of the St. James dugout. No chance for Villanova. And a good catch in the stands by Young Lady. Fires it back on the field.
That was no Young Lady. That was Fred Prada's wife.
Sign her up.
Yep. Fred, of course, been at St. James for 13 seasons now. And had gone to Penns Grove High School. Played his baseball under Jim Devonshire. You remember the fabled Devonshire, not so much as a baseball coach, but as a football coach. Went on to Philadelphia Textile, where he met his wife-to-be. They were married in the senior year, and one of his most ardent supporters ever since.
His alma mater here also today, Mike.
That is correct. They will be playing Ridge for the Group 1 championship.
Swung on and missed, strike 3, so McCoy gets the first out on a strikeout, and he's had a bunch of those. That's number 147 on the season. One big out. And we'll bring to the plate cleanup hitting Darren Maroney, a junior hitting .380. Not too many underclassmen starting for John Kuntz at Pope John. They were 13-13 a year ago with a very young team. And most of those players are seniors now, helping with his 22-4 championship campaign. And Rosado almost leaning too far, and that one Villanova thinks he might have had him. It's a strike. Good fastball inside corner. 0-1 to Maroney. Maroney plays right field for Pope John.
McCoy's claim to pitching fame all year long, Bob, has been his ability to locate his pitches. And here to the first three batters so far, and now to Maroney. He has been a little high with that fastball, and that's the one, of course, that Strecco got for that triple, the leadoff hitter. He's going to have to get that ball down just a little. Again,
back.
And again, he had it up high.
Count is 0-2 to Maroney. Another throw to first base. 0-2 count to Rosado, who has given no indication of wanting to run in this situation. To right field, slicing to the line. Caught just about on the line by Jay Bradway, the outstanding St. James freshman. That's the second out of the inning. Young man is going to be quite a ball player, Mike.
Well, he's got the good size already and shows a lot of maturity, and has had now this whole season. And, of course, not only a season to play, Bob, but in a season in which there's been so many victories and this great opportunity to play here. That's the kind of thing that can mature a young man, make him a leader for the next 3 seasons.
Strike one to Pat Strako. 2 outs now. Good running opportunity for the Lions. Kuntz is coaching at third base. Now he runs. Tough little play to second base, but a low throw by Wilson, dug out nicely by Villanova for the 3rd out. So that'll do it for Pope John in the first inning. However, they counter the St. James run with a run of their own. Leadoff triple by Strako, resulting in a run. And it's 1-1 after 1 from Princeton. Stay tuned.
One to one here as we start second inning action at Princeton in the Parochial B Championship. Pope John and St. James.
It'll be Spalding, the designated hitter, McKenzie and Piella, the first 3 hitters for Pope John in the second inning. Or excuse me, for St. James it'll be Taylor, Bradway, and Wilson, the first 3 hitters. Mike Taylor, designated hitter on the Carpenter Cup team, leads it off for St. James.
Of course, the Carpenter Cup taking on greater significance for those of us at Channel 5 this year, Bob, since we will be there on opening day televising 3 straight ball games.
Oh, looking forward to that, Mike. Always wanted to do a game at the Vet.
I understand Howard Eskin is looking forward to meeting you that day.
2-0 count to Taylor. And ball 3 as Highland continues to battle his control problems. He had 1 walk in the first inning. Three and 1 count to Mike Taylor, who's hitting .381 on the season and has driven in 19 runs. That's 3rd best on the team. High hopper. It's going to be a tough play. It'll be a base hit, infield hit, handled by second baseman Strako, but obviously no chance to throw out Taylor, so Mike Taylor leads off the St. James second inning with an infield hit.
Again, credit Strako down at second base for not attempting a throw over there. Taylor easily had it beat out.
Jay Bradway, the freshman we were talking about, .293 batting average as a freshman starter, 17 runs batted in. And getting to play in a state championship game as a freshman. Left-hander to left-hander. Highland with the move to first base.
Well, I'll tell you what, if he has a better one than that, he's got a good one. Usually the first time pitcher throws to first, he won't give you that real good look, and that was not a bad move there. Different kind of move there that time.
Ball hit Taylor in the back.
Stepped off the mound and gave it that sidearm toss that time instead of stepping from the mound towards first as he did on the opening pickoff attempt. Jay Bradway, a resident of Quinton, Bob. Players from all over the place at St. James.
Good pitch by Highland. 0-1 to Bradway.
Taylor, of course, at first base, comes out of that outstanding youth program in Pennsville. 3 or 4 of the starters from that program.
Slow breaking ball missing high.
For an 11-1 pitcher, Bob, Highland has not shown us the good heat yet.
Less than 1 strikeout per inning for Highland. That's not a high number for a high school pitcher with the kind of record he has. So he's relied a lot on breaking balls. 2-1 count to Bradway. And we have seen a slow assortment of pitches so far from Highland. Taylor on first base via the infield hit. Swung on and missed. 2-2 count to Bradway.
Nothing wrong with that breaking ball that time. Bradway swung right through it. Maybe as good a breaking ball as he's seen all season.
1-1 score. St. James and Pope John, top of the second inning. Hit the left field. Should be an easy play for Connolly. Makes the catch. And Taylor will retreat to first base. 1 out.
Give Bradway some credit, Bob, though. He hung tough on that one. He got fooled on that curveball before that he swung through. Breaking ball comes again on that pitch. Highland figuring if he got him once, he could get him again, and Bradway stayed right with it, hit it where it was thrown, and out into left field.
Joe Wilson, the batter. Joe, a junior, hitting .233 in the season. It's a strike. Good stop by Piella. 1-1 count to Joe Wilson.
Well, they've got Taylor at first, 1-1 count. Not a bad place with the one out to maybe be running, particularly to retest that arm of Piella, but Taylor does not run that well. And apparently Prada deciding not to unleash him.
Count is 2-1 to Joe Wilson.
You know, though, he's going to have to test that arm again after that horrendous throw on the first steal attempt.
And ball 3, and Highland still struggling. Falls behind Wilson 3-1 with Taylor the runner at first and one down. Infield at double play depth for the Lions. Strike 2. Now we may see Taylor move with one out, full count. Taylor not running. Fouled back over our heads. John Vogening, assistant sports editor of the Courier Post, sitting beside us. Mike, I thought John would go after that ball, but he never flinched.
He had the right arm up, I thought.
Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Big strikeout for Highland as Wilson becomes the second out of the inning. Taylor remains at first base. And now 2 down for Steve Lopes, who's hitting .245.
Good to see Lopes in the lineup, Bob, since he does represent the home port of St. James High School, Carneys Point.
Ball gets past the catcher, Taylor. Another high throw by the catcher. Good backup on the play by second baseman Strako. So the error will be, or the
pass ball.
A pass ball to Piella. On the play, Lopes swung at the pitch. The count is 0-1. Taylor in scoring position with 2 down. Ball on the strike to Lopes. St. James scored a run in the top half of the first inning. Pope John came right back with a run in the home first. Slow breaking ball again from Highland. That's basically been his number 1 pitch today. 2-1 count to Lopes. Good pitch by Highland on the outside corner. 2-2 count. Boyd Sands making the calls today. Seen Boyd a lot on Channel 5 through the years. Fine umpire.
And you see him every year here at Princeton, Bob. One of the most respected people in the State Association.
Fouled back into the crowd sitting on the bank.
Hit a little girl around 4 years old right in the stomach.
Oh, what a shame.
Never saw the ball coming. Fortunately, didn't get her up a little higher than that. She'd be in real trouble.
Count holds at 2-2 to Steve Lopes. Fouled back again, same direction. If they hit one a little bit left of that towards my wife, I'm sure she'll handle that, Mike, sitting on the bank.
Sitting, she's doing some sunbathing.
Good breaking ball, and it froze Lopes. He strikes out. Third strikeout for Highland. St. James does not score in the top half of the second inning. Middle of inning number 2 in the battle for the state parochial B championship. It's a 1-1 ball game. Good one shaping up here. Spalding, McKenzie, and Piella
This is the second appearance of St. James in championship play, Bob. They were here in 1981 when they lost to St. Mary's of Jersey City by a score of 6-3. Show you what a small world it is, however. The opposing coach that day, Ed Ford, now the area scout for the Chicago White Sox, and also Fred Pratta's present boss. Fred, of course, hired as an associate scout for the White Sox. So I guess Ed Ford remembered the job that Pratt had done and had maintained relationships over the year. They came home losers that day, of course, 6-3. You might remember that outstanding pitcher for St. James, for Bob Waters, who was unable to win it that day. You can see out here, of course, television all over the place, suburban cable from East Orange, New Jersey, doing the game on the opposite field, the Parochial A contest between Don Bosco and a team with somewhat local connections to us, Holy Cross, coached by you-know-who.
The Bull.
Greg Lozinski. And I don't know if you had a chance to talk to the Bull this morning when he came in. I said hello, and he nodded and spit a little tobacco juice on my shoes, but he is in the greatest physical condition I think I've ever seen him. Looks like he could be out there playing right now. I'm going to treasure the tobacco juice and have these shoes bronzed. This statue, of course, named for the captain of the 1942 Princeton baseball team, McCoy, interestingly enough, with pitcher McCoy on the mound for St. James. This young man who lost his life in the Second World War. They honor him here with that statue. Captained the freshman team in 32 and the varsity team in 39 and the varsity team in 42.
See, you've done your homework, Mike.
Only way to do it, isn't it?
Ball one to Matt Spaulding, leading off the Pope John second inning. McCoy out there pitching, sliced foul down the left field line, out of the reach of Dave Zappala, the third sacker for the Spartans. Spaulding, the DH. He DHs for Highland, hitting .406 on the season. Mickey McCoy, not only a great athlete, Mike, but also has done very, very well in the classroom at St. James, a member of the National Honor Society. Strike two, we're going to see him on that Carpenter Cup team. And of course, McCoy, all South Jersey pitcher. 2-2 count to Spaulding. Late swing by Spaulding, no contact. And that's the second strikeout for McCoy, first out of the second inning.
The real question in that South Jersey South team, Bob, well, who will get the starting nod up there? Will it be McCoy with the great record, or it will be Steve Worrell from Lower Cape May with the outstanding reputation? Worrell going, to, of course, to Stanford University. One assumes being drafted 35th in the 35th round, he's not going to sign.
Little pop-up behind short. Might be a tough play, but charged and caught without any difficulty by Steve Lopes for the second out of the inning. Ryan McKenzie flies out. That's two down.
Imagine being able to go with Worrell or a McCoy.
I heard Worrell's fastball is something to behold.
He's up above 85 every now and then. According to his supporters, more often now than then, and some other people have seen him more often then than now. So we'll get a chance to see which way it is.
Strike one to Chris Piella. Chris, a sophomore, only sophomore starter for Pope John, is hitting .299 on the year. And strike two, and McCoy now seems to be in a good groove.
Yeah, he's got the rhythm. You can say it now. That has been his key. His mechanics are just so perfect in terms of being exactly what he wants to do. When he gets in that rhythm, you're in trouble as a batter.
Late swing, foul, almost hits the first base coach. To first base. McCoy covering, close play, but they get him as Villanova waited for the high hop. McCoy did his job getting over there. The 3-1 play retires Piela. 1-2-3 inning for McCoy. And after 2 full in the battle for the state championship, parochial B, it's a 1-1 score.
We've got a good one brewing here at Princeton University, as it should be in parochial B competition. It's 1-1, St. James and Pope John. Mike Linder along with Bob Shryock for Storer Communications. Bob?
Tom Rostelli, you're leading it off for St. James, Mike. Quite a story there.
Yeah, he really shouldn't play today, because can he top the act he went through the other day? His first base hit of the season, now hitting 1 for 10, coming off an old football injury. He really didn't get a chance to play. But that base hit, driving in the runs that win the ball game and give St. James the ride here to Princeton University.
1-0 count on Rostelli from Pat Highland. Hit the right field and just fouled by about a foot. That would have been at least a double for Rostelli. Hit it well. He managed to pull the left-handed pitching Highland.
Well, I'll tell you what, Bob, I guarantee it would have been a hit, but we watched Maroney out there in right field throwing before the ball game, and I'm not sure Rostelli would have wanted to test that arm. He got to it fast, and he has probably the strongest outfield arm we've seen all year.
1-1 count to Rostelli. Outside 2-1.
Of course, Rostelli comes from an athletic family.
As a matter of fact, his dad right alongside us here doing this game on radio. First baseman trying to make the play, and safe. Great hustle by Rostelli. Beats it out. It'll be a base hit all the way. The ball off the body of first baseman Brian McKenzie, but great hustle by Rostelli and a bang-bang play at first.
No question, even if the ball is handled by McKenzie at first, Highland was not going to get there in time to cover, and Rostelli got down that line quickly. That's a base hit all the way.
St. James has had its leadoff hitter on base all 3 innings. Leone walked in the first and scored the only run for the Spartans. Taylor singled the lead off the second when was stranded. Now Rostelli leads off the third with an infield base hit. And ball 1 to Sam Leone.
What do you think? Any chance here we should see the bunt? 3rd inning action, tie ball game, find out what they can do at third base. Can Strecko come in and make the play? You're going to have number 2, 3, 4 coming to the plate after this. I think I'd be looking bunt.
That was a good play by Brian McKenzie at first base on a bad pickoff throw from Highland. It's a strike. 1-1 to Sam Leone. We saw Leone pitch an outstanding game for St. James when they defeated Glassboro late in the season. Of course, St. James Tri-County Classic Division champions.
He showed the bunt that time.
Tony Rostelli, of course, we're talking about the bloodlines there. Tony Rostelli is the radio announcer right next to us today, Dom Rostelli's dad.
Tony, of course, football coach for a lot of years in our area.
Fouled back towards Tony Rostelli.
We spend a lot of time side by side with that group during football season. They will remain here today, Bob, to radio back the Pennsgrove game. He'd like to remain here, the father of a state champion.
2-2 pitch, just high, full count. Now we'll see how Fred Prada plays this one with Rostelli on first and nobody out. Full count to Leone, good contact hitter.
Well, we saw how well Rostelli got down to first base. I say you've got to let him go, if for no other reason, even with a strikeout, to find out whether or not catcher Piela has that arm or not. Twice we've seen him throw to second, both times up in the air and over the reach of the player.
He's moving, called strike 3, but no throw to second. So the stolen base for Rostelli as Leone strikes out looking, but Piela does not throw to second. And they get Rostelli in scoring position with 1 out. 4th strikeout for Highland. And Fred Sorabello, the batter, he's one of those strikeout victims. Hit up in the air to left field. Hitting into foul territory. Good hustle, and that ball was almost fair. Conley unable to get there, but that ball was not more than a couple of feet foul. This field absolutely in immaculate condition, Mike.
Yeah, I don't suppose the coaching staff here has to do too much work on the field, do you think?
0-1 count to Sorbello. Sorbello lays off a high pitch, 1-1. One out in the St. James third inning. Rastelli on second base. And strike two. Sorbello doesn't like the call from Boyd Sands. Finds himself in the hole, 1-2.
Sorbello from Woodstown. Leon, of course, was from Woodstown also.
Slow, tantalizing breaking ball again by Highland is high. 2-2 to Sorbello. And a full count. Pop-up should be playable by the catcher. And he takes it in foul territory. Piella takes care of Sorbello for out number 2.
Good play that time by catcher Piella. Of course, we indicated how much room they have behind home plate, not the norm that you see in most high school fields, and hence a lot of high school catchers, Bob, do not have the experience of going after those foul pops, and certainly not at that depth. And Piella looked like he was a little confused when he made his first turn, but located the ball well and took the catch.
Chance for Mickey McCoy to help himself again. He did in the first inning with a long sacrifice fly. Hit sharply, stopped nicely by the third baseman Strako, and a good throw to McKenzie. They get McCoy. Nice play at third by Strako. St. James retired in the third inning without a run. In the middle of the third, it's still a 1-1 ball game.
Real interesting, Bob, that we have St. James here today from Carneys Point, and less than a mile away from them, of course, sits Pennsgrove High School. And Pennsgrove will be in the Group 1 game between Glen Ridge and themselves. Glen Ridge is going to be a tough chore for the Red Devils from Pennsgrove, who are one of the surprise teams of the state tournament coming in, Bob, only 14-8 in the season. They've got to face Glen Ridge at 26-1. As we take a look at Jadwin Gymnasium, a lot of people have been up here for wrestling championships. Group 2, you've got Delran against Pequannock. Delran 24-2. That's an interesting matchup there. And, of course, that's interesting because Delran is just a stone's throw from Holy Cross, the team playing on the opposite field now for the Parochial A championship. In Group 3, we've got Cherry Hill West and Pascack Hills. And, of course, that could have easily been in Group 4. We could have had Cherry Hill East, who lost in the state semifinals. So would have been a lot of interesting community conversations going on because of the appearance of these teams here.
Well, you're talking about your storybook situations at the top of the show, Mike. How about Delran High School in its sports year, 1987-88?
Won, of course, the South Jersey Championship, the sectional title in football. Went on to play for the championship in basketball, having taken the Group 2 South Jersey basketball, and now here a chance for the state championship in baseball.
McCoy delivers strike one to Bill Conley. Conley hitting .261 on the season. And strike two. McCoy throwing one of his infrequent breaking balls today. Ball and 2 strikes to Bill Conley. 1-1 tie, each team scoring a run in the first inning. swung on and missed, and Conley was overmatched in that at bat. He becomes the third strikeout victim for McCoy. Both pitchers have settled down nicely, Mike, and it looks like we still could have the kind of game that we anticipated, very low scoring.
Well, I like the way, as we pointed out, that McCoy has settled into his rhythm. He just looks so comfortable out there right now. Looked a little nervous there in the first inning, but that's to be expected.
Great breaking ball. Strike one to Brian Strako. Strako tripled and hit it well to left field over the head of Steve Lopes, then scored the Pope John run. Ball on a strike to Strako. Two and one. Strako with a .463 batting average coming into this game. That's number 2 on the team, only to Kevin Reardon, who is at .466 coming in, but they've switched positions now because Reardon made out first time. This one hit into right field, should be playable by Radway, and he one-handed for the second out of the inning. 2 down.
They have frightened off left fielder Lopes, Bob, following that long triple. Lopes is playing in the next county, it appears, right now in left field.
Well, he is deep.
He is out there a ton.
Rosado reached on an error in the first inning. Fouled back.
Whoa, just missed the spectator walking across, who would have had her day of watching the game shortened considerably. Take a look, huh? We're using the triple long lens to get a picture of it.
Bouncer to third. Short hop nicely. And an easy play. Good play by Dave Zappala. Gets it over to Villanova. Another 1-2-3 inning for McCoy, who is now retired 9 in a row. End of 3 innings. It's still a 1-1 ball game.
We titled this a pitcher's matchup at the introduction to today's game, and as we reach 4th inning action, it is rapidly becoming that. Pat Hyland on the mound for Pope John. Bob?
Line drive, base hit in the left field by the sophomore Keith Villanova, and for the 4th consecutive inning, St. James has its leadoff hitter on the last 3 on base hits, and Villanova hit it well.
Well, you're getting down to 4th inning action, Bob, although you've got your number 5 hitter at the plate, Mike Taylor, who is known for the ability to show some power. I don't know that it isn't a bad time to bunt and get something going.
No indication of bunt by Taylor. Takes ball 1 from Highland. 3 base hits for St. James, all of them leading off innings. Inside corner for a strike to Taylor, 1-1.
And he brought that fastball better than he has all morning. Really tied Taylor up on the hands with that pitch.
Ball 2. Not much of a lead by Villanova at first base.
Seen 3 straight fastballs here. Taylor ought to think breaking ball. Nope, got the fastball.
Count is 2-2 to Mike Taylor.
Now he's got to be a defensive hitter up there. Has to forget about power. Maybe choke just a notch.
Hit to right center field. Dropping quickly. Could be trouble. Base hit. Good recovery by the right fielder Maroney, but a late throw to second base. A Texas League single for Mike Taylor. He is 2 for 2, and St. James has something going here in the 4th inning. Now, Mike.
Got to think bunt, don't you?
Bunting situation is obvious with Bradway, the freshman, up there. 2-1, nobody out.
The only reason he may not be bunting, Bob, is that Fred Prada may be concerned about Wilson Lopes coming up, the next 2 batters, and they not of the high batting average type. He may want to give Bradway his swings. Although, obviously, it's calling for a bunt.
Left-handed hitter facing a left-handed pitcher. Slices it right to the third baseman. And they get him. They get him. quick throw from Strako to his brother Brian Strako, the second baseman, coming in behind Villanova. And how about that? With one pitch, they get 2 big outs, and that puts a real dent in the St. James rally here, so they do not bunt. Bradway swings away and lines softly into a double play.
Well, I guess that's why the book is what the book is, which calls for the bunt in that situation to preclude that kind of thing from happening. But I still think he had Bradway swinging away because of where he was in the batting order.
So Wilson takes ball 1. Now Taylor on first base with 2 outs. It's a strike, 1-1 count to Joe Wilson, who was a strikeout victim his first time up. Real good ball game shaping up. Count is 2-1 to Wilson. Strako to Strako for the double play. Taylor running. Piela, a better throw this time, but he slides safely. It was to the shortstop side of the bag, and the Pope John fans and players thought it was a double play. Good tag applied by Brian Strako, but it looked to me, Mike, like Taylor was safe.
Well, that throw on the left field side, shortstop side of the bag, and that's the thing that helped Taylor get in closely. But a much better throw this time, huh?
First 2 sailed into center field. Count is 2-2 to Wilson. Full count. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Highland now has 5 strikeouts, and a very promising St. James inning goes down the tubes without a run. Villanova and Taylor with consecutive singles leading off the inning, but the big double play off the bat of Jay Bradway, and then the strikeout of Wilson, and Pope John gets out of the inning. It's middle of the inning, the 4th inning, and it's a 1-1 tie. St. James and the Lions from Sparta battling for the Parochial B State Championship.
State championship play, Bob, not starting till 1971 in New Jersey. Until that time, the State Association would award sectional titles based on record without any playoff situation. And then in 71, they decided it was time to bring the teams together and find the state champion at least in each group. And of course, South Jersey owns the location of the team with the most victories in state tournament play, that being, of course, Gloucester Catholic, having the next 6 state championships, starting with their first one in 73, picked up another in 74, won with that outstanding undefeated 24-0 club in 1980, and then had a run of 3 straight years, 84, 85, and 86. So Al Rodano with 4 of those championships of his own. And the team, the school with 6.
I was at a golf tournament yesterday, Mike, and had a long conversation with the father of one of those great players of that undefeated Ram team you're talking about. Of course, the great pitching tandem of Yoler and Sebra, and I was talking to Mr. Yoler last night.
They were something special. One of the first baseball games we televised, Bob, you might remember, was an American Legion contest at Pittman with Brooklawn and Pittman, and we saw both those pitchers that day.
On the 4th of July, Mike.
That is correct, and about as hot as you could get. We had the old radar gun out, if you remember, and both of them cranking it up over 90 miles an hour on that gun that day.
Kevin Reardon, strikeout victim his first time up, and takes strike 1, fouled back again over our heads. It's an 0-2 count to Kevin Reardon. McCoy has now retired 9 batters in a row since Strako tripled, and then Rosado reached on an air to lead off the ball game. Foul down the right field line.
Strange stance with that bat pointing straight back like that.
Foul tip is held by Taylor for the First out of the inning. Second time Reardon, their number 1 hitter, is struck out. And for McCoy, that is now a total of 4 strikeouts, 1 in each inning. Pitcher's really starting to take charge of this ball game. Darren Maroney flied to right field his first at bat. Ball 1. Ball 2. Very seldom you see McCoy get behind a batter 2-0. Bouncer to short. Ball stays down. Good play by Leone. But Villanova cannot make the scoop at first base. It'll be a throwing error on Sam Leone. Made a nice play on the ball, but not a good throw. Villanova tried everything he could do to stop it, but could not. And Maroney, a base runner on the air.
A lot more difficult play than it looked. The ball kind of died on Leone as he went to reach for it. And then he threw across his body. Didn't really have good position, afraid of the runner's speed getting down the first, and an errant throw. Number 22, Strecco at the plate. Looks like we're going to get a pinch runner, Bob, as Coach Coons talking to one of his players. Number 3, Renaud, R-E-N-A-U-D.
I didn't have a chance to tell you the pronunciation of his name before the game, Mike. It's Renaud.
Well, same to you. I think I drank some of his wine in the old days. Huh? Renaud.
Greg Renaud. It's a pretty good lead, and he has almost picked off a good pickoff throw from McCoy to Villanova, and the pinch runner was almost a dead duck.
Well, maybe they feel even now because Pope John felt they had a runner at second.
Hit the second. Could be a double play ball. They get the out. Oh, the ball is dropped. The ball is dropped. Did they get him?
No. Oh, he's calling him out.
He's called out. Wow. He is called out at second base. Apparently, the umpire judging that Leone had successfully made the tag at second base before trying to throw back to first. So they get the lead runner. That's 2 outs.
Well,
and Strecco safe at first.
We're a distance away from them, so we'll have to wait maybe to see if we see a replay of that one. But as Coons gives the signals down there.
Wilson de Leon bounce right back up the middle. This will be an easy play for Leone. Finds the bag and makes the tag to retire Spalding, and the St. James team coming out now to congratulate Leone for his good play. That'll do it for 4 full innings. Pitchers duel, Highland and McCoy. 1-1 tie, St. James and Pope John. We'll be right back.
Couple of controversial calls in the 4th inning for Pope John as they now become the defensive club, and St. James tries to take the lead in this 1-1 ball game. 5th inning action coming up from Princeton. Mike Linder along with Bob Schrack for Store Communication. Bob?
Steve Lopes struck out his first time up. A tantalizing breaking ball again. Ball 1 to Lopes.
How about those Pope John fans over there? They were none too pleased with those last 2 calls at second base. Felt they were both gone against them incorrectly.
Have a hunch they're not going to forget it either. Ball and a strike to Steve Lopes. They were a bit shaky, Mike, those calls. That's safe to say.
They go in the book as outs, don't they?
Yep.
20 years from now, no one will remember.
2-1 to Lopes, trying to get something going for St. James in the 5th inning. Each team scored a run in the first, and that's where we stand. Ball 3.
In Highland, we talked about McCoy being in a rhythm. Highland does not appear to be in any kind of rhythm, does he? Flailing all over the place out there on the mound.
And yet, he's only walked 1 up until this batter. It was Leone leading off the ball game. And now he issues his second walk as Lopes hustles down to first base, and this unusual streak continues. Now St. James has had its leadoff hitter on base in every inning. I think you got a bunt now, Mike, with the top of the order coming up and 2 chances to get Lopes in if Rastelli can get him to second base.
Well, Fred Prada having a long talk with Dom Rastelli, exactly what he wants him to do. And Strako at third base creeps in on the edge of the grass. Of course, McKenzie at first will have to hold the runner before he can break down the line.
Rastelli legged down an infield hit and stole second in the third inning. Not showing bunt, takes a strike. Be very surprised if they didn't bunt here, Mike.
A lot of coaches play hunches, and they may feel Rastelli has the magic going. A big hit the other day and then a hit last time up.
It's a straight steal. Piella with a good throw this time, and they get him. The umpire sliding down the tag made by Strako, and Piella, we've been talking about the fact that he has not shown us a great arm, makes a big throw there to nail Lopes for the first down, and Mike, it appeared to be straight steal all the way.
All the way, no question about it. Prada doesn't seem upset at all at his batter as if he missed a sign or anything. And Piella has answered the critics following those first couple of wild throws, 2 in a row now, right on the money.
2-1 to Rastelli. Dom Rastelli did not have a base hit this season because of injuries up until the Gloucester Catholic game when he drove in the winning runs to cap that 5-run inning. Now he's got a hit in the state championship game, so he's only 2 hits of the year in the 2 biggest games they played. 2-2 count.
Well, we just caught a big break here. John Vogeting finally disposing of that cigar he's been chewing on and smoking. Love to know where he buys those things.
From Harry Callis?
I'm not sure.
Swung on and missed. Rastelli strikes out. That's the second out of the inning, and that play at second base may have given Highland a bit of a lift. Highland has now struck out at least 1 batter in every inning, a total of 6.
Now 2 situations now calling for the bunt, Bob. Both times the bunt eschewed by Fred Prada.
Not only that, they didn't do it.
That's correct, and both times it has come back to haunt them.
Leone,
especially now.
Base hit up the middle by Leone. Now you can do a little bit of second guessing. Leone, a base runner for the second time in the ball game. He walked, stole a base in the first, and then scored the only St. James run on Mickey McCoy's sacrifice fly. Then Leone struck out second time up, so he's 1 for 2. And a possible running situation now with 2 down, and Sorbello, the batter. Sorbello was 0 for 2. Great spot to run, Mike, but not much of a lead by Leone.
I think Piella has scared them off with the last couple of tosses down to second.
Well, they've been much better, that's for sure. 1-0 count to Sorbello.
Still a great place because of, you point out, Bob, the number 2, 3, 4 hitters, the next 3 up.
Fly ball might be playable. And nobody gets there. Looked like somebody should, as third baseman Strako, shortstop Rosado, and left fielder Conley all were converging on him. But it looked like Rosado, the shortstop, had the best shot at it, Mike.
Well, that situation, that is a shortstop ball if the left fielder cannot get to it because he's going at it with a better angle than the third baseman. And he may have been scared off by the noise of the left fielder Conley coming at him and the fact that Pat Strako at third did not really cut away from it.
Like the aforementioned Greg Gluzinski pounding down on Larry Bowe when they played for the Phillies, huh?
Can you imagine what that says about Bowe's guts, huh? That he would hang in there.
Of course, they had a big collision one time, I recall.
And I'll bet you Gluzinski got up first.
As a matter of fact, Gluzinski is the one who missed 3 games after that,
and
Bowe
right?
kept playing. That's right.
Led you into that one, didn't I?
Huh. The only reason I knew that is because they were talking about it the other night when Bowe was on Prism. 2-1 count to Sorbello with Leone, the 2-out base runner at first. Leone, very little lead. Good stop by Piella. 3-1 count.
And interestingly, McKenzie really backing off, usually out of there, to allow Leone to move a little further with the 2 outs. First baseman want to cover a little more territory. Starts on the bag. Let's see if he moves this time.
And ball 4. So St. James trying to get something started here with 2 outs. And Mickey McCoy, their second best RBI man, is the batter. Great chance to help himself. He already has a sacrifice fly. Now John Kuntz, the Lion coach, will make a visit to the mound to talk to Highland in his infield.
Kuntz really had a fine record there, Bob, when you figure they were 13-13 a year ago, and having that 79-45 overall in 5 seasons. He has turned that program into a real winner, and he's done a good job. And the kids, watching them before the game when you were down there talking to them, really respect this coach. Right now, he, I think, has recognized what a lot of people may have missed. This had all the makings of a real big inning for St. James, and Highland has been struggling with the exception of that strikeout throughout this inning.
Key spot in the ball game right here as McCoy, outstanding hitter, faces 11-1 Pat Highland. 5th inning baseball. Leone, the runner at second. Sarbello, the runner at first. 2 down. Of course, big throw by Piella to nail Lopes, the big play of the inning so far, and strike 1 to McCoy. Wind starting to kick up just a little bit, blowing in. Hit sharply, but right to the shortstop. He'll make the soft toss. That's Rosado de Strecco for the force out on Sarbello, and they get out of the inning. They get McCoy to ground out, so now in the middle of the 5th inning, it's still a 1-1 tie, St. James and Pope Paul. That ball kind of died on that beautifully manicured infield grass, Mike.
It looked as if it hadn't been cut a while the way that ball went. It's been a big year for St. James, Bob, and a lot of people lose the fact that Fred Prada has quietly emerged as one of the better coaches in South Jersey, recognized by his peers just the other night at the All-South Jersey banquet as the coach of the year in South Jersey over 13 seasons. He's quietly done a very, very effective job down there. They win their first Tri-County championship this season. First championship really of in quite a while. They've been in the Tri-County since '83.
Is that the bowl? It's Greg Lazinski.
That is their ball game going on down there between Don Bosco and Holy Cross. They tell me his son, an 8th grader, may be as big as he is right now.
I tell you, he put a few baseballs in orbit, didn't he?
It's tighten up time now, isn't it, Bob? 5th inning. Young men down
margin
there.
for error.
Yep, they've got to start feeling it right about now. Have that initial rush of nerves at the beginning of the game.
McKenzie, bouncer to Leone at shortstop. Easy play to Villanova for out number 1 as McKenzie is retired for the 2nd time. Hey, those red ants been biting you, Mike. They've been attacking me the whole game. I think Joan Vogening is throwing them on me.
Yeah, it's those cigars they're attracted by.
Chris Piella grounded out his only time at bat. Hits this one into right field. The ball got to get past Bradway. This could be 3 bases. Bradway falls down trying to get it. Piella's going to try to get 3. And he will, sliding with a triple on a ball that may have fooled Bradway a little bit, Mike. And it goes for 3 bases.
Bradway made the decision, Bob, that with 1 out and nobody on, he was going to do everything in his power to get to the ball instead of perhaps taking the deeper move on the angle to make sure it didn't get by as it wound up doing. And he winds up with Piella at 3rd base as a result. So triple all the way as Bradway could not get to the ball.
Conley the batter, the infield in. They'll try to cut down the run at the plate in this 1-1 ball game. Bouncer to short. Leon,
Oh!
tough hop over his head. Base hit all the way. It'll get Piela in. And Pope John takes the lead 2-1 on a ball that just bounced right over Leon's head. Nothing he could do about it. Only the 5th RBI of the season for Conley, the number 9 hole hitter, but a big one. Piela scores, and it's 2-1.
Well, Fred Prada made the decision to bring the infield in. It's getting late, 5th inning, as we pointed out, and wanted to try and keep runner Chris Piela from scoring at third. It was perfect in terms of the first 4 or 5 bounces. Looked like Leon would handle it, take a look at Piela, and throw the runner Conley out at first, instead up over his head. You're absolutely right. He could have leaped another 3 feet and wouldn't have gotten to it.
Foul off down the right field line by Brian Strako. Strako has the other Lion triple today. Triple leading off the first inning, then scored. He's 1 for 2. So Piela with a 1-out triple, then a single, bad hop single by Conley, and it's a 2-1 ball game. Conley with only 5 runs batted in on the season. That was a big one. McCoy with a good fastball. 0-2 count to Strako.
Whereas a lot of people think he can make a living at a high school level, Bob, with that high fastball as he threw that time. It just overmatches so many hitters. It's not really a great pitch except at the high school level.
Strike 3, Strako strikes out. McCoy does not have a big strikeout total today for McCoy. That's only number 5. That's the 2nd out of the inning. Then Vic Rosado, the batter, he's 0 for 2, reached in an error. Kind of a tough luck inning for McCoy. Piela's ball did not look like it should have gone for 3 bases, but did. And then the decision by Prada to draw the infield in looked like a good move, but the ball takes a weird hop over Leon's head, and it's a 2-1 ball game. Missing outside, 1 ball to Rosado. So St. James is going to have to come from behind in this one. 2-0.
Rosado looked as if he was thinking bunt that time. I think McCoy was thrown off by it, and as a result came with the pitch high and out of the strike zone.
Running on the play, Conley. Taylor, a bad throw into center field. Good backup by Sorbello. It'll be a stolen base for Conley.
First time they've tested Taylor. And now they'll put in the book what they think about his arm.
So John Kuntz with a good move with 2 out, getting another runner in scoring position. They'd love to pick up this 2nd run of the inning. And a 3-0 count to Rosado. It's a strike. Popped up, could be in play. Villanova chasing it into foul territory and takes it for the 3rd out. So McCoy pitches out of further difficulty. However, Pope John gets a run. Piela triple, Conley infield or bad hop single. And after 5 full, it's Pope John 2 and St. James 1.
The Spartans facing a 1-run deficit here as we start 6th inning action. It's getting late and they're down 2-1 to Pope John. Bob?
Keith Villanova fouls one back, 0-1. Villanova is 1 for 2 with a solid base hit his last time up. St. James running out of opportunities now, 6th inning. All on a strike to Villanova. Pat Highland has pitched in and out of some trouble. Has not given up a run since the 1st inning. Inside corner, looked like it backed off Villanova a little bit, but it caught the corner 1 and 2.
You know, Keith gets in there real tight in the batter's box, and they can give him some trouble with some inside pitches.
Good curveball swung on and missed for strike 3 Villanova, the 1st out of the inning, and that is the first time in the ball game that Highland has retired the leadoff hitter. St. James down to 5 outs in this one. The batter, Mike Taylor. Taylor's 2 for 2. And also has a stolen base. He'll be a DH on the Carpenter Cup team. 6'2", 215 pounds. First team All Tri-County Conference Classic Division. Good fastball, no contact, 1-1 to Taylor.
And now Highland looks to have the rhythm. So much of this game a mental game, of course, and you give him that lead, and he can just sense that he needs but the 5 outs. And pitching with more confidence this inning.
1-2. Test low. 2-2 count to Mike Taylor.
Piella tried to convince Boyd Sands that was strike 3. Boyd would have none of it.
Well, we've seen Boyd Sands work a lot of basketball and baseball through the years, Mike.
Wonder where he finds the time with his responsibilities as we look at that beautiful breaking ball, Bob.
Called strike 3, and Highland has retired 2 good hitters back-to-back on strikeouts, Villanova and Taylor. That's 2 down, and the freshman Bradway will bat.
And all of a sudden, Highland with 8 strikeouts.
Yeah, Mike, he's one of those pitchers that just doesn't impress you that much when you watch him, but he gets the job done. 1-0 to Bradway. Bradway is 0 for 2, and he was the batter and probably the key at bat for St. James today, with Villanova and Taylor base runners in first and second, nobody out in the 4th inning. Bradway lined into a double play, fouled back.
Who is that lady got that ball?
And my wife took that one on 3 hops.
Which wasn't bad, considering it only bounced once. I think the other 2 were caused by her fumbling. I hope she's got some sunscreen on today, because that's about all she has on.
2-1 count to Bradway. She is not allowing our director today, Stan Ritter, to get any shots of her, so he can't prove that what you just said is true.
Yeah, she and Raleigh Massimino, huh?
Swung on a miss, 2-2, and Highland cranking up his best inning by far.
Congratulations in order to you, of course, Bob, as the Boy Scout Council Man of the Year in South Jersey. And I understand Massimino, the speaker the other night, denied access to the Channel 5 crew.
Yes, he did. I was a little surprised, Mike. Thank you very much, incidentally. Swung on and missed, strike 3. What an inning for Highland. The ball dropped by Piella, but he makes the tag. So Highland strikes out the side. Villanova, Taylor, and Bradway needs just 3 more outs to clinch it for Pope John. In the middle of the 6th inning, it's a 2-1 ball game for the Lions. Going to make it tough, Mike, because St. James is going to have to do it in the 7th inning with the bottom of the order. New second baseman, incidentally, in the ball game for St. James, Scott Love, replacing Joe Wilson. Yeah, Mike, this has been a rapidly played ball game.
In a great setting, as you're taking a look at Palmer Stadium, a site of how many football games, Bob? My goodness, and of course just went through a renovation over the last few years, a beautiful place to watch a game. And if you get a chance to look at football, because if there's one place in the country that is the site of the premier tailgate parties, it is Palmer Stadium, the Ivy League tradition, and it just reeks of it as you drive through this area. Huh? You know this is the place to be if you're one of those premier academic types. You applied here, I understand.
Yeah, right. For what?
Well, I was going to let you tell us. But.
Well, McCoy has some work to do. Can't worry about what St. James does in the 7th inning until McCoy gets through a tough challenge here in the 6th with Reardon, Maroney, and Straco, the first 3 hitters. This one hit well to left field. This is hit a ton by Reardon up against the fence. And he will have now he's going to try for 3. No, he goes back to second. He might have him. And they get him. What a mistake by A bad mistake by Reardon. Thought about 3, and he might have hurt himself.
Well, he certainly hurt his psyche, if not his physical condition, because he's got to be out there. I think it is a physical problem, but he's got to be out there saying, more than anything, what in the world did I do? None out. It's only a 1-run ball game. Clearly, I'm taking a look at the play all the way, coming around second base. There's no question at all that I can see what's happening. And what am I doing? Straying halfway down to third. And credit shortstop Leon, Bob, who there for an instant was almost caught off guard and was going to throw to third, assuming that Reardon was going to try for it, but he held up enough to get the ball over to Scott Love and have the tag applied. And a real error. And if St. James comes back, Bob, to tie it or take the lead in the next half of the inning,
that'll haunt him.
It sure will.
Great relay from Lopes to Leon to Love. They get Reardon, who is credited with a double, but then is caught rounding the bag too far. Thought about going to third, stopped almost halfway to third.
That ball hit a ton, too, as we pointed out. Lopes has been playing way out there since that triple in the first inning by Brian Strecco, and the ball winds up lying against a 387-foot mark out there after only a couple of bounces, so you know it was hit with everything you can do it.
I believe the young man is going to hurt pretty badly.
Yeah,
right?
It looks like an ankle, obviously. They took the shoe off. Now they're carrying him off. Right ankle suspended in midair a little bit.
So adding insult to injury, he's injured on the play.
Adding injury to insult, huh? That really has to pick McCoy up. You don't want to pitch with a runner at second with nobody out. In a 2-1 ball game in the bottom of the 6th.
Of course, Reardon, an outstanding center fielder, so he will apparently not be able to go back out there for the 7th inning. So there's 1 out, despite the Reardon double. Man, he is really having his problems coming off the field.
That could be a knee or an ankle. Of course, knee could be an old injury that was re-injured.
Good heads-up play by St. James to get Reardon at second base. And we're ready to resume play. Darren Maroney, the batter. Maroney is 0 for 2, reached on a shortstop error last time at bat. 1 out in the 6th inning. Ground ball. Leon, good play. Low throw, not dug out by Villanova. And it'll be another throwing error on the shortstop, which allows Maroney to get the base. So now the base running gaffe by Reardon looms even larger. 1 out, Maroney on first. Pat Strako, the batter, he is 0 for 2. And Coach John Kuntz may think about running Maroney in this situation to try to get the insurance run in scoring position. Strike 1 to Pat Strako.
A lot of movement on that fastball by McCoy. He is, if anything, Bob picked it up. He has not lost it. Started out. In case a little bit of nerves looked like at the beginning, but another good one.
Yeah. 0-2 to Strako. McCoy with only 5 strikeouts today. And has not walked a batter, Mike, and that is the figure that I find totally remarkable. He's now pitched 19 innings on the year and has only walked 12 batters. That's amazing. Strike 3, Strako becomes the 6th strikeout for McCoy. And Matt Spalding, and it's possible, Mike, that Matt Spalding, unless St. James can rally in the 7th inning, would be the last batter McCoy faces in his scholastic career.
Yeah, but not a spectacular career in that McCoy really wasn't heard of very much before this season. He just came alive as a senior, starting off the year with a great performance. What, he struck out 20 in that extra inning game to begin the season. That got everybody's attention, and of course, as a result, they took a long look at McCoy. Winds up the year as an All-South Jersey first-team pitcher. What a great honor that is.
Ball and 2 strikes to Spalding. Spalding DHing for the Lions. The center field hit pretty well, but positioned perfectly to make the catch is Fred Sorbello for out number 3. So because of the base running error, St. James able to get out of the inning. However, St. James coming down to its final 3 outs. They need a run or two and trail Pope John 2-1. We'll be back.
It's been a storybook season for St. James. The Spartans from Carneys Point just enjoying it, but they're going to need a storybook finish to win this Parochial B championship. As we start 7th inning action, the Spartans find themselves down 2-1.
And Jeff Stidham is the pinch hitter for Scott Love, leading off the St. James 7th inning. Takes strike, hits it into center field. New center fielder out there. Its ball is fooling him. It's over his head. It's going all the way to the scoreboard. Stidham is rounding second. And he's going to have a sliding triple. How about that?
How do you explain it? How do you explain it, Bob? Where's Fred Pratt's magic in this magical year coming from? He comes with a pinch hitter. A lot of people scratch their head. They say, what are you doing putting up a 130 hitter on this season? In this situation, could there be any more pressure-packed situation to put somebody that's averaging just over 1 hit in every 10 at-bats, and he gets away with it, he gets a triple. And of course the big thing, not only that base running error, but the injury then that occurred that forced him to go with the new center fielder, who obviously did not have his bearings out there at all.
And now the wheels are turning as John Kuntz calls for a timeout and goes out to talk to Highland, his pitcher in the infield. So St. James with a tremendous opportunity to get the tying run.
And that center fielder, of course, Bob, is Tom Niefenecker, who got in the game out there, number 15, to replace Rosado, who was injured when he made that base running error. Or, I'm sorry, Reardon,
yeah.
Reardon, who made the base running error.
How about that? St. James with a tremendous opportunity here to get the tying run. Now St. James descended a pinch runner. We are at a disadvantage, Mike, because Dave Smith is a pinch runner for Stidham at third base.
Dave Smith.
Dave Smith is at third base. And now Kuntz brings the infield in. They're going to try to cut down
I don't know about that.
Well, I don't know either, Mike.
Yeah. You're the team with the last at-bat. You've got the lead. We saw what happened to St. James when they brought the infield in.
The batter is Steve Lopes. He's 0 for 1, a walk and a strikeout, and he'll try to get that tying run in. It's high and sails on Highland. 1-0 to Lopes, so the tables are turned now. It's a 2-1 lead for Pope John, but St. James here in the top of the 7th inning has a great opportunity to plate the tying run.
And Bob, the only Carneys Point player in the starting lineup today has a chance to help the school located in that community. What he has to show here is good discipline.
And he has so far a 2-0 count, and the St. James crowd on its feet, the players in the dugout on their feet.
Oh, I look for take a pitch here, take a pitch.
Takes a strike, 2-1.
Wouldn't it be something, Bob? He does not get the runner in, and who comes to the plate but Rastelli, the hero from the other day.
Infield in, trying to cut off the tying run at the plate. It's ball 3.
Yeah, what do you do? Take one here?
I do.
Count to 3-2? I think that's the only call. Got to take a look.
Make him throw the strike. Highland has only walked 2 batters. 3, excuse me. Strike 2.
No.
No, ball 4. So St. James has runners at the corners, first and third, nobody out, and now let's see how Kuntz plays it.
Interesting situation here. If the infield remains in, they've got to be running Lopes, don't they, to get him down to second base. Rastelli has the chance. Now they move the second baseman and shortstop back. I guess you call that double play depth.
Dom Rastelli is 1 for 2.
Isn't this interesting, Bob? They were going to cut down the run. I guess they don't want to allow the runner to get the second base unimpeded. Whoa, look at this, almost, huh? Can you imagine if he throws it over the first baseman's head?
If he does that, it's a run, and Lopes gets to third base in all likelihood.
Probably, the way that area's left over on the other side.
Fouled back.
Rostelli may have offered it a ball that time, Bob, and may have been a little over-anxious. How would you like to be calling this game on radio over there if your name was Tony Rostelli?
I'm sure he's totally impartial.
Yep. As I said before, you can find yourself in situations that test your professionalism, and this has to be one for him.
0-1 count to Rostelli. 2 on, nobody out. Breaking ball is high. 1-1 to Rostelli. Rostelli, the hero of St. James, pulsating, comes from behind. 8-7 victory over Gloucester Catholic just 4 days ago. 5-run rally in the last inning. Hit the center field, should be deep enough. Tagging to third is Smith. No, it's dropping quickly. They're not going to get there. It's a base hit. And good heads-up base running, Mike, by Scott Lopes, who went halfway and made it to second base, so they can't get the force. A Texas League single by Rostelli, who comes through again. It's a 2-2 ball game. And better for St. James, they have first and second and nobody out and the top of the order. And Mike, again, you have to wonder whether Reardon, their fine center fielder who's out injured, might have gotten to that ball.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was not well played in center field that time. And you're right. All of a sudden, they're back in the game. They've got the runners at the first and second with nobody out. And old Rostelli over there was really happy.
Mike, you got a bunt here, don't you? You got a bunt here. Leone, leadoff hitter, handles the bat well. First and second, nobody out. Tie ball game. Good hitters coming up, Sorbello and McCoy. You got a bunt here. 2-2 tie. St. James rallies again. No indication of bunt. The ball bounces, and Piela with a good play. 1-0. St. James crowd really into this now.
Seems to me you've got to turn around and offer sacrifice all the way. Look at this, though.
It's fair. It's a fair ball. It's a fair ball. Rounding third base is Lopes. He's going to score. St. James leading on a double by Sam Leone. How about that? And St. James with 2 runs in to take the lead and a chance for a big inning on a ball just fair down the third baseline by Leone.
Well, I guess Fred Prata knew something we didn't know, deciding not to bunt, which is obviously the call. And remember, he got burnt twice before when it called for it, and he didn't do it. He continues to stand in there and not do it, and this time he gets the double out, the RBI, the lead run. I'll tell you, this is a team that's come back all year long. Said at the beginning of the inning, it's been a storybook season, and they were going to need a storybook finish, and it's got all the ingredients of just that right now.
And remember, nobody out. This inning started when Jeff Stidham, the pinch hitter, batting only 130 in the season, tripled the dead center field. A walk to Scott Lopes. Rostelli with a Texas League single to drive in 1 run. Now Leone with a double to drive in the go-ahead run. And Sorbello takes the ball. Now the infield in. They can't afford to give up any more runs. They'll try to cut down base runner third. Now Coons is coming out, and apparently he's going to make a change. So with a 1-0 count to Fred Sorbello, Kuntz, let's see if he's going to make a pitching change here. He went over to talk to Boyd Sands. How about this St. James team? Appeared to be out of it against Gloucester Catholic the other day. Big 5-run rally capped by Rostelli. Here Rostelli is again, who barely played this season because of injuries, right in the middle of another rally with a base hit to tie it, and then right behind him, Leone. Looks like they're going to bring the outfield in too, Mike. They're not going to make a change. They do not wish to give up another run in this situation. Sorbello's job here is to get his bat on the ball. He just loved to hit a fly ball. Of course, it's not easy to do that when you're trying to do it. The outfield has been pulled in as well. This ball, too, to Sorbello. Remember, Mickey McCoy waiting on deck, too. He'd love a shot with the bases loaded. St. James has rallied here in the 7th. Its final scheduled at bat leads it 3-2. Still nobody out. Strike one to Sorbello. And Highland, if he ever had a strikeout in his life, needs one here.
Tough way to play baseball with that infield pulled in. That ball has to be hit right at the infield or it goes through, and we have 2 runs scored.
Sorbello hits it to center field. It's another. Oh, it gets past the center fielder. What an inning he's had. What a shame. 2 runs are going to score. St. James is going to lead 5-2. And how about this, Mike? The center fielder, young man, has had an awfully tough time out there for Pope John in this inning. Tom Niefenecker. He let that ball misplay him. It was a base hit. It was a base hit, but then he let the ball get past him. 2 runs score. St. James with 4 runs in and a 5-2 lead. You got to feel sorry for the young man.
It's almost one of those situations where you don't even want to mention the young man's name because, number one, pressed into service, probably expected to sit there and at most get a suntan and hope to get a championship jacket out of it. Instead, he's pressed into the service after the mistake by the starting center fielder, Reardon, where he got injured. And now, not only that, they've been very difficult plays. There's no question about it. And it just makes him look worse than he really should. I mean, that one, the difference is the experienced center fielder plays that one to keep the ball in front of him in that situation. And instead, he comes in to try to make the catch, which is not the play to make in that situation.
Off the glove of Highland, McCoy's going to beat this out for an infield base hit. And what next can go right for St. James and wrong for Pope Paul? McCoy with a base hit. And 6 consecutive batters have reached base for St. James. Mike, one of the ironies of this rally is that in the 6th inning, Highland had mowed down Villanova, Taylor, and Bradway on strikes. He has the bottom third of the order coming up in the 7th. And look what's happened. They all reach base, plus the top 3.
And McIntosh going in to run.
Boy, this has been some rally by St. James. A little deja vu. And Keith Villanova will get a shot with 1st and 3rd, and still nobody out.
McIntosh at first, now pinch running for McCoy. Good move by Prada for 2 reasons, Bob. One, he gets McCoy to sit down and rest. But more importantly, what I like is they give Stanley McIntosh a chance to run, Bob, after he was picked off in a key situation the other day that looked like it was going to spell disaster for St. James. And the confidence shown here in Stanley McIntyre, I'm sorry.
There's a little pop-up that's going to fall for a base hit. They got another run. And McIntyre winds up on 3rd base on a base hit by Villanova, his 2nd hit, and what a rally by St. James. 5 runs in and still nobody out. The balls have eyes now, Mike.
When it goes your way, it goes your way, and they've had the magic. They've got it again here in the 7th inning.
It looked like it might be over. Highland, all he had to do was get the bottom third of the order, but the pinch hitter, Jeff Stidham, set all of this in motion with that long center field triple. Now Mike Taylor bats. He's 2 for 3, and Highland still doesn't have anybody out. Strike 1.
How about running Villanova right now?
Why not? Everything else is going right.
Exactly, and let him try and throw through. If things go the way they are, it'll be another throw in his center field, and unfortunately probably get through to the center fielder.
Ball on a strike to Taylor. Stidham, Lopes, Rastelli, Leone, Sorbello, McCoy, and Villanova have all reached base, and every one of them has gotten a base hit except Lopes, who walked. 1 and 2. Some kind of rally by the Spartans.
They win this one, Bob. Can you imagine the memories they're going to have?
Twice in a row they did.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, hit the right field. This ball hit well. It's going to be way over the head of the right fielder. McIntyre scores. Behind him is Villanova. He's going to come in. He'll score on a triple to right field by Mike Taylor. Ladies and gentlemen, a 7-run inning, still nobody out. What an incredible rally. 3 hits in the ball game by Taylor.
A bench that was absolutely silent around 11 minutes ago, Bob, now continuing to erupt with joy as they sense that it's going to be theirs. 8-2. They've got the ace McCoy on the mound. Now they're going to make a change, and it'll give us a chance to pause. 8-2. St. James on top of Pope John here in the 7th inning. We'll be.
Brian McKenzie, the relief pitcher, facing Bradway, and delivers strike one. Mike Linder and Bob Shryock back at Princeton for one of the most incredible rallies I believe we've ever seen in Channel 5.
It has
not in terms of just overcoming a one-run deficit, but the magnitude of it. 7 runs and nobody out.
And the setting, Bob. The fact that it's in the final game of the season for the state championship. The comeback kids, they're going to be known as that. There's no question about it, assuming they, whether they hold on and win it or not. What a show of just real intensity.
Good breaking ball in the inside corner. 1-2 to Bradway. Taylor is the base runner at third with still nobody out. His 2-run triple delivered runs 6 and 7 in this inning. First 8 hitters have all reached base. Swung on and missed by Bradway. He strikes out. They finally get an out in the inning. Let's recap this inning. Jeff Stidham, the pinch hitter, started this with a triple. Lopes walk, Rastelli singled, Leone, Sorbello, McCoy, Villanova all singled, and then Taylor tripled.
They all playing a part in it. That's the other good thing, isn't it?
Swung on and missed by...
That's the K by Bradway.
Oh, okay.
We're going to take him 1 strike short.
Okay. So Bradway finally does strike out.
You like to do that once a game anyway, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of excitement in our truck today, too, Bob, because Fred Pratty, began his career not as varsity coach down there, but as a JV coach. So we'll take a look here at this strike. And on that final JV team, the one that earned him his fame and got him promoted to the head coach job, one John Mondelli was a starter on that club.
Oh, what a club that must have been.
Came out of the bullpen a number of times in relief.
If Stidham the batter. Stidham started this with a triple.
Yeah, he deserves to get up again, doesn't he? He looked like the 130 hitter on that one. And it doesn't matter a bit, does it?
Good job by McKenzie. Back-to-back strikeouts of Bradway and now Stidham for 2 outs. And the batter is Steve Lopes, who walked and scored earlier this inning. 7-run, 7th inning. Lucky sevens for St. James. Ball 1 to Lopes. Of course, Pope John still has an at-bat, but they'll have to have an enormous rally of their own against one of the best pitchers in the state. Of course, Highland, with an 11-run record, not a bad guy to have in there facing the bottom third of the order with a state championship on the line, Mike.
You figure you can book it. I know all the sage newspaper reporters in the setting back here were agreeing, holy mackerel, poor St. James. They've got to go against Highland with the bottom 3. Ready to call their stories in, but they've got to revise it now.
Bouncer to the right side. New first baseman Bales will make the play unassisted, so a nice relief job by Brian McKenzie, but the damage had been done and then some by then. St. James with another one of its miracle rallies, a 7-run 7th. They need 3 outs to win the state Parochial B championship as they lead Pope John 8-2. What was it Sam Carchidi wrote in the Inquirer the other day? Do you believe in miracles? Yeah.
Followed by a long yes. And of course they are going to remember that line and they're going to call it their own, although of course it isn't. It will be now their rallying cry.
Well, St. James has to feel fairly comfortable with McCoy out there in a 6-run lead.
Put the ball in play. Now they face the situation essentially that Gloucester Catholic faced the other day, and that game in which they had their 7-0 pitcher, Hadlowski, on the mound, where you want him to go out there and just throw strikes. And, of course, he was greeted by a single and then was unable to find the plate as he walked a couple of batters, and really got him into deep trouble there. This is the situation where you don't want your pitcher overthrowing. You want him to say, hey, I've got 7 men out in the field plus my catcher. I'm just going to put the ball in there, keep it in play, and hey, 7 out of 10 times under normal statistics it's going to be an out even if they hit the ball hard. McCoy has not really cracked all year long, Bob, and no reason to predict that he will here.
So they're 3 outs away from a state crown. It'll be McKenzie, Piella, and Conley, the bottom third of the Lion order here in the 7th inning. Mickey McCoy has struck out 5 and not walked a batter. Struck out 6. One and 0 to McKenzie, who was 0 for 2 on the day. Fly ball to left field and a ground out to short. Ball and a strike. St. James players all out in front of their dugout, ready to erupt if McCoy can get these 3 outs. Right back to McCoy. Takes a bad hop, but he stays with it and makes the play for out number 1. They need 2. Ball's taking some funny bounces on that beautifully groomed field, Mike.
Yeah. I don't think McCoy cares at this point. It did bounce into the glove, and he got the out.
That's a good reaction. That ball could have hit him in the face.
Long wait for Mickey McCoy Sr., pitcher at Gloucester Catholic, 1948 to 52, one of the best around, and now watching his son as he tries to be the author of this, what would be an 8-2 victory in a state championship.
Strike 1 to Chris Piella. He is 1 for 2. Hit a big triple in the 5th inning. Strike 2. That turned into a run, and it looked like a very big run at the time, but now seemingly very insignificant. 0-2 count on Piella. Fouled to right field, or way back. 0-2 to Piella.
Fans aren't waiting from St. James. They're lining the fence down by their dugout, hoping to get out on the field, which they will not do, I don't expect.
Pop up. And good hustle from Sorbello in center field. That ball looked like it might have eyes, too. That's the 2nd out.
And a good play by Leone to get out of the way. Made the rush as if in the event that he would have to make an over-the-shoulder catch. He's called off by Sorbello, slides out of the way. 1 out away.
Bill Conley, the batter. Conley hit that bad hop single over the head of Leone, which produced the run that gave Pope Paul a 2-1 lead in the 5th. And he's the last bit of hope for the Lions. Takes the strike. St. James needs 1 out for a state championship. Foul ball and strike 2. Nick McCoy would like to end it with a strikeout. He's had a lot of them.
Yep, give him that hook on the outside corner. Look at the dirt and watch him swing.
Pitch. McCoy needs 1 strike.
Got
and
it.
there it is. Mickey McCoy strikes out Bill Conley. St. James has won the state parochial B championship 8-2 over Pope John on the strength of a 7-run 7th inning rally. The champs, St. James. And look at that celebration. What a great moment for those young men, Mike.
They will remember this one forever. No matter what they go on to in their careers, those that continue to play, there will be nothing that will top that first championship. The one, not only first for them, of course, but the first one in school history. 8-2 is St. James' victory. We'll be back with some interviews and some final words about this championship for the Carneys point score after these messages. A big victory for the little school from Carneys Point. St. James, the Spartans come up with their first state championship, the Parochial B Championship, won by the Spartans today. We said it's been a storybook season for this club all year long, and it was a storybook finish as they come up with the 7-run rally in the final inning to win 8-2 over Pope John of Sparta. Some of the magic weaved by Fred Prada all year long came back again today as he goes to the last inning with his bottom 3 hitters coming to the plate and chooses to select a pinch hitter. Jeff Stidham takes the role at the plate. He, the author of a 130 batting average to this point, and starts that rally with a triple. What a great decision it turns out to be for Fred Prada. And he, of course, in his 13th season, a very happy coach today, and he will be Bob Shryock's post-game guest. Bob?
Fred, you're hanging on to that like I don't think you wanted to let it go.
No, I guess this is the first one we've won in baseball since its inception here at NJSIA, and God bless us. I mean, I don't want to let this thing go at all. We worked too hard for it today to get it lost or have somebody take it from us. We weren't going to let it happen either. We were going to win it, and I told the kids back when we beat Millville 6-0 in our Diamond Classic in South Jersey that you guys were state champs, and I told them you got to believe that, and with that belief, take it to every game you play and play the best you can because you're getting ready for Princeton.
Fred, Mickey, congratulations. Mickey, somebody was saying that when you're down 2-1 going into the 7th, you had them exactly where you wanted them.
Well, if we come back from Gloucester Catholic, I think we can come back from anybody, really. So.
Yeah, Fred, I heard you talking about that too. I guess the way you came back and defeated Gloucester Catholic certainly would give you a great deal of confidence in a situation like this. Even though he strikes out the side and looks sharp in the 6th inning, you have the third of the order, bottom third coming up in the 7th, and you score 7 runs.
Well, I knew he was throwing a lot of pitches all day. And he's not predominantly a fastball pitcher. He was sneaking it in. His money pitch was his curveball. And I just thought that the curveball was starting to get up. And all our hitters had to do was wait for that fastball and just start making contact and hit the ball someplace. Everything else was going to take care of itself.
Of course, Jeff Stidham starts it off with the center field triple. Kind of interestingly, I heard you say that he likes to hit slow ball pitchers.
He's a slow ball pitcher hitter. Yeah, he's that kind of a kid. He lost his job to Mike Taylor, and he, quite frankly, he could have folded his glove and spikes and said, I don't want to play anymore. I'm a senior. I'm going to get a summer job or something. Instead, he hung out with us every game, didn't give us a bit of trouble, and did everything we asked him to do. He DH'd a few times, had some problems against some better pitching, this was his last game in the state association, his last game as a high school player, and I had to give the kid the opportunity regardless of what he did, And just, he, like a Dominic Rostelli on Tuesday, we got our hero today, Jeff Stidham, who started it off for us. Yeah, he hit a shot. I'll tell you, I can't believe the shot he hit.
Mickey, 16-0, fantastic season. More pressure today or more pressure the other day against Gloucester Catholic to get you here?
Gloucester Catholic, definitely, yeah. So we had to win that one to get here, so there's more pressure there.
Knowing this team as you do, going back to the game against Gloucester Catholic, Mickey, were you surprised what happened in the last inning?
No way. I knew the way these guys hit, we could hit. So.
What was the mood on the bench, Fred, when they scored the run to go ahead 2-1?
I kind of looked down the bench, and even myself kind of put our heads down. We got a little leery, but you know what? When you got Mickey McCoy, a man who can throw strikes and still keep you in the ball game, you can't let down that way. He wasn't going to walk many people, and they weren't going to hit the ball real far with this big ballpark as it was, and we were just going to play and make them make mistakes the next inning.
I think the most remarkable statistic I've seen about Mickey is the walk-strikeout ratio.
Yeah, it's amazing.
120 innings this season, and when he goes 16-0, 12 walks, none of them today. That is a remarkable figure for a high school pitcher.
Yeah, Mickey's just a control-type pitcher. He proves to everybody you don't have to throw 90 miles an hour to throw strikes. You just have to throw the spots. And if you're 80 miles, like he throws in the 80s, 82 maybe, when you're that kind of a kid, you got to throw the spots. And if you pick your spots right, you're going to have those hitters bailing out on you or not hitting everything, because his ball does move rather well on other pitches. His slider, his curveball moves well, and his fastball, he could do various things with the fastball.
You've thrown a lot of innings this year, Mickey. Did you nonetheless feel good today?
Yeah, I felt fine. I had 3 days rest. That was plenty for me.
Saw a couple college scouts converging on you. I know you have not made a decision yet, but interest seems to be picking up all the time. Are you leaning anyway, Mickey? What are your thoughts right now about college?
I'm not leaning anyway, so I'm just waiting for a good opportunity, a good school. Division I, I hope. So.
You'd prefer, I know that a number of two-year schools have expressed an interest in you, but would you prefer a 4-year school?
Yeah, 4 years, Division I. So I want.
Fred, let's talk strategy a little bit. You get the tying run. You have Leone up in a situation which might call for a bunt, but you let him swing away. Tell us about that.
The sign was on for bunt. But Fred Leone, the guy to follow, Freddie Cerbello following Sammy, was having a tough time with Highland, and I didn't want to give the opportunity maybe to get second and third and one out, and then Fred Cerbello come up and possibly not get the runs in, with the fact that he was having a tough time today at the plate. So I figured this way, Sammy hits the ball hard and far. He's seen real good pitching last year again in American Legion last year, and then also this year already. So I had put bunt on, then I changed my mind. I shook it off, and I said, Sammy, just get a good pitch to hit, and let's score some runs. And thank God he did that for us, yeah.
Boy, the hits rained for you in that last inning,
yeah,
didn't they?
Well, I think, like I said, their pitcher was a little tired, I think. He got the ball up a few times, and when you get the ball up on Mike Taylor especially, he's going to rope it for you, And the other kids just waited and were patient because they're experienced hitters. They've been there all year.
Mickey, offensively, was there much of an adjustment for your team today? You don't see too many tall left-handed breaking ball pitchers in South Jersey.
No, I don't think there was much, but we've been having practice with a couple of left-handers on our team. Haven't been in practice with them, so we pretty much nobody was going to throw.
Well, Fred, Mickey, congratulations on your great season, and I know you've had some highlights in your career, Fred, but this has got to be near the top.
Well, I think the greatest one was Wednesday night being named Coach of the Year. That I'm probably the only head coach of the year from St. James High School in its history, and I'll always cherish that moment the rest of my life. I'll never forget that. State championships are fine, but being chosen by your peers is a real honor.
Now you got to go out and find another Mickey McCoy for next season.
Maybe winning the state championship, somebody might walk in the door and say, "Coach, we want to play for you."
Congratulations, both of you, Mickey. Good luck to you. Okay, Mike.
Well, as we point out, St. James picking up the victory today, making them the first time they've been state champions in the history of the school. They were here one other time and went down to defeat that time. It will not happen today. They will have the happy bus ride back to Carneys Point. Mickey McCoy, a number 7 child in a family of 7 children, takes home the bacon for that family. They're going to be a very, very happy group tonight. His father did it a lot of years ago. Now he comes back and gets the championship that eluded that man, and it's a happy, happy crew from St. James. Once again, the final score, St. James 8, Pope John from Sparta 2. It's a victory in Parochial B, state championship for St. James. For Bob Schrack and Channel 5, I'm Mike Linder. Thanks for joining us. We'll look for you next time.